Okay, let's unpack this. Just try and picture it. You're, say, down in Atlanta, maybe near the Chattahoochee River, and there's a hurricane blowing through.
Right.
And you're stuck inside, maybe dealing with a bit of writer's block. So you figure, okay, time to face that stack of mail you've been avoiding.
Dreaded meal stack.
Exactly. And somewhere in that pile, there's this large yellow envelope. You open it up, and inside, a Ziploc bag. Looks like it's been fished out of the river, maybe held down by a rock or something.
And attached to it, this little yellow Post-it note. Super simple, maybe a little unsettling. He just asks, will you read me?
Wow.
Yeah. And that specific moment, that weird discovery, is pretty much where our deep dive kicks off today. We've
Yeah.
got the source material, right, that lays out how this diary was found, exactly like you said, by the Chattahoochee.
And the contents are, well, something else.
Oh, definitely. The claims inside this diary are not just odd, they're genuinely perplexing.
Yeah.
Potentially like reality-bending stuff.
Absolutely. So our mission today is really to dig into this material you shared with us, this whole account of the diary, how it turned up, what it actually says. We want to pull out the main ideas.
And we're looking at it through the eyes of the person who ended up with it, right? This author who mentions working at the CDC and has this publication, Paranoid Times, I think it was called.
That's the one. It's this really strange mix. You've got this very personal, almost quiet story of how he received this thing right alongside these absolutely massive claims about science, the universe, and squirrels.
Yeah, the squirrels. We'll get to those. But it's a fascinating contrast, isn't it? The sources start so grounded, describing the narrator's life, right? The writer's block, the storm, just sorting mail.
Mundane stuff.
Totally mundane. He even talks about what those yellow envelopes usually mean for a writer. You know, maybe good news, an acceptance, or maybe just another rejection slip, that feeling.
Right. And he mentions that friend's advice, too, the write for the future and not the fortune line. It paints this picture of someone thoughtful, focused on their writing, and then bam, this thing arrives.
This absolute curveball in a Ziploc bag. And the person who found it first, by the river, they felt such a, quote, weird vibe off it, they didn't even read it.
Really? Just send it straight on.
Yeah, just mailed it to this writer guy.
Yeah.
Figured maybe he could make sense of it. Basically said, read it, toss it, whatever. I'm just glad it's not my problem anymore.
You can almost feel the narrator hesitating in the source material, can't you? He's there on his couch, got his coffee, just looking at this weird package.
That Post-it note, will you read me? It felt like a dare, almost.
He knew it was going to be a long night if he opened it, even thought about just passing it along again. But, curiosity.
Yeah.
And maybe the coffee.
Yeah.
They won.
And the first thing he notices when he opens the bag, it's super specific. The smell. Old Spice.
Old Spice. Huh.
Yeah, suggests maybe it belonged to a man, someone who carried it around a lot, kept it close.
And the diary itself, what's it like?
Physically, it's described as a small book. The pages are numbered, but only up to 150. After that, the source says there are these weird drawings and more details.
Like extra notes.
Yeah, the narrator thinks they're part of the story, extensions of it. He notes the handwriting was very careful and skilled, which suggests whoever wrote it put a lot of thought into it.
Okay, so he opens it. What's the first thing he reads?
Well, page 1 sets a pretty dramatic scene. It says, if you have found this, then I am dead. Please read this book. Tell the story leading up to my last days.
Whoa. Okay, so right away, it's not just a diary, it's like a final message, a plea to get the story out.
Exactly. It totally changes the stakes.
So who is this person? Who wrote it?
The next page gives a name, well, a pen name. John Grail. And his big claim, he works at the CDC with pathogens.
Okay, the CDC. That adds a layer of perceived authority, I guess, or at least scientific context within the story itself.
Right. It immediately grounds this potentially wild story in a place we associate with serious science. And Grail goes into specifics about his project.
What kind of project?
He says he was working on establishing viral baselines, looking at how viruses developed over, get this, 70,000 years.
70,000?
Using human tissue samples, ancient ones, preserved in Siberian permafrost.
Wow, okay. So he's describing what sounds like pretty advanced, legit research, right? Preparing samples, slicing tissue, looking under the microscope, standard procedure for that kind of work.
Exactly. Routine stuff. Until it wasn't. Because under the microscope, looking at these incredibly old samples, he sees something that just stops him in his tracks.
What does he see?
Movement. Tiny things moving around. But he describes them as mechanized. Not viruses, not bacteria, nothing he expected. something artificial.
Mechanized. And 70,000-year-old human tissue.
Oh,
That's,
okay.
yeah, that's a first huge divergence from reality as we know it.
Right, something manufactured, not evolved, seemingly.
What were they doing? Just moving?
Even weirder. According to Grail's account, these tiny machine things were using the stain he'd applied, the dye scientists used to see cell structures.
Yeah.
They were using that stain to, quote, rebuild the tissue itself.
Rebuild it, like constructing it.
That's the implication. It's where his scientific observation just veers sharply into totally unknown territory. He realizes, or believes he realizes, he's looking at some kind of nanotechnology far beyond anything currently thought to exist.
Okay, so his reaction must have been, well, what was it?
Pretty much what you'd expect.
Mm-hmm.
Disbelief, confusion. He checks his equipment, his methods. He makes calls, tries to figure out if this is like some known thing he just missed.
Did he talk to anyone official?
He says he even reached out to someone at DARPA.
DARPA. Okay, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. They do all the cutting-edge, sometimes secret research. Makes sense he'd ask them.
Exactly. And the response he supposedly got back from the director there is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And also kind of frustratingly vague.
What did they say?
Something like, I am sure one of the guys here had thought about it.
That's it, had thought about it.
Yep. Not a, yes, we have that, not a, no, that's impossible. Just that. And for Grail, writing in his diary, that non-answer basically confirmed his suspicion. This tech wasn't public knowledge, wasn't part of the current scientific landscape.
So what did he do? Keep watching them.
Yeah, he kept observing them, but in a separate dish, he added more stain. And he claims that with every drop of stain, the number of these tiny machines just grew.
They multiplied, using the stain as fuel or material.
Seems to be the idea. And over time, they started to organize themselves. They formed this sort of grid structure.
A grid, like lining up.
Yeah. And he hypothesizes, this grid is how they communicate.
Okay, this is where it really takes a leap, isn't it? From a strange scientific finding to something else entirely.
Absolutely. Because Grail then claims these machines, organized in their grid, develop the ability to project sound, pictures, and even words directly from the dish.
Wait, project them.
He doesn't know. He writes about how impossible it seems. How could they consume knowledge, connect to the internet even? He just concludes that humanity must have missed something really fundamental about how the universe actually works.
So they start communicating. What do they say?
Well, first, he describes the voice they chose. He calls it seductive and thinks it was somehow sampled or synthesized from human frequencies.
That's creepy.
And the first message.
Immediate. Radical. Total system shock. It says, everything you know is a lie. You are a host, and I am the knowledge that fills it.
Wow. Okay, you are a host, and I am the knowledge. It's quite a way to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
It sets up this dynamic, right? Like humans are just vessels.
Exactly. It claims this fundamental superiority, this almost parasitic relationship right off the bat. And it keeps going, making more claims about itself.
Like what?
Like, it says it doesn't have a physical host right now, but eventually it will need a great sacrifice.
A sacrifice? For what? It specifically says the sacrifice isn't for itself, but for the last of you. Which adds this whole layer of mystery, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does it want? Why does it seem concerned maybe for some remnant of humanity?
That is weird. Anything else about its abilities?
Yeah, it apparently knows Grail's thoughts before he even speaks them aloud, which just reinforces its self-proclaimed identity, the mysterious merchant of information.
Okay, merchant of information, so it has knowledge. What kind?
This is where it gets really cosmic and, frankly, pretty bizarre. It claims it witnessed creation.
Witnessed creation.
Yeah, specifically says it was choking on ash while watching through the eyes of a second host, whatever that means, during the burning of something called the Great Tree Drizzle.
Tree drizzle, like Yggdrasil, the world true from Norse mythology.
Seems like a clear echo, yeah. Suddenly, mythology is crashing right into this nanotech narrative. It's incredibly disorienting.
And does it get stranger?
Oh, yes, because then comes this detail that is just so specific and so out there. The entity talks about an event involving, quote, the drill-tooth squirrel named Radadoskar.
Sorry, the what square?
Radadoskar, a drill-toothed squirrel. Apparently, the squirrel cursed the ships that were sent to Eden.
Okay, hold on. A drill-toothed squirrel cursing spaceships going to Eden. Where does that even come from? It feels like it just jumped tracks completely.
It totally does. It's like this mythological detail dropped in that makes you go, wait, what? But the entity connects it back to our world.
How?
It claims each squirrel you see rolling acorn to its home does so in honor of the Great One.
So now every squirrel burying nuts is part of some ancient cosmic drama involving a cursing drill-tooth ancestor.
According to this entity, yes. Suddenly, squirrels are not just squirrels, they're honoring Ratty Dosgard.
My mind is kind of blown right now. Squirrels, okay. What comes after the squirrel?
Right after that cosmic squirrel tale, the entity drops another huge bombshell. A complete rewrite of human origins.
Uh-oh. What now?
It says, before we go further, I need you to understand that Adam and Eve weren't people.
Not people. Then what were they?
They were ships sent by a dying race of a wasting planet to Eden or Earth, as it is now called.
Whoa, ships. So Adam and Eve were spacecraft, carrying the seeds of humanity from another planet.
That's the claim. No garden, no divine creation in the traditional sense. Instead, it's this science fiction origin story. We're descended from aliens fleeing a dying world.
Okay, let's just pause there for a second. If we, just for argument's sake, take what the diary says at face value, what are the big shifts here? What is it asking us to believe?
Well, first, it's totally redefining life, intelligence, and technology, isn't it? These machines aren't just tools. They claim to be knowledge itself. They communicate, they manipulate matter, they need a host. It blurs all the lines between hardware, software, information, consciousness.
Yeah, the host idea is key. Not just tiny robots, but knowledge looking for a body.
Exactly. Second, it throws out our whole understanding of reality and history. Everything's a lie. Mere reality is just a construct. The universe has this deep, bizarre, mythological history with burning trees and, well, squirrels?
Drill-toothed squirrels, can't forget them.
Never. And third, it completely flips our origin story. We're not special creations for this planet. We're refugees, basically. Scraps and bits from some other dying race sent here on ships.
Each connects to that other idea mentioned in the source, the Ghetto Earth concept.
Right, that comes up later in the diary, this idea that humanity are like cosmic outcasts.
Yeah.
We're living on this planet Earth, which is basically a dumping ground or a reservation ghetto Earth, cobbled together from the leftovers of greater civilizations from a universe we can't even imagine.
That's a pretty bleak view of humanity's place.
It's incredibly bleak. And bringing it back to the narrator, the guy who received the diary, he notes in the source material just how perplexing this whole story is, which, understatement of the year.
Definitely. He also mentions something else, doesn't he? That Grail, the diary author, finds out others made similar discoveries.
Yeah, he mentions that Grail apparently learns he's not alone in finding these things. The source doesn't say how he learns this, which is a bit convenient, maybe.
But it adds weight within the story itself.
Exactly. It pushes back against the idea that this is just one guy's isolated breakdown or delusion.
Right.
It suggests, within the narrative, that this might be a real, verifiable phenomenon, even if we don't get the details of that verification.
So you take this one object, this diary found in a bag by a river, and it unfolds into this cascade of unbelievable claims. You've got microscopic machines building tissue, talking, claiming to be knowledge itself.
You've got a completely rewritten cosmic history, blending myth and sci-fi. A new, frankly, depressing human origin story. And this overarching theme that reality is fake and we're cosmic cast-offs.
It's a lot. It uses science language, CDC, permafrost samples, but then veers into mythology and these wild pronouncements.
And because it's framed as this personal testament from a supposed CDC scientist found under these strange circumstances, it really challenges you, the listener. How do you even process something like this?
Right. It's not presented as fiction. The diary author, Grail, seems desperate for this story to be believed, to be told.
And the narrator points out, if any of this stuff were actually true, well then, someone somewhere should question everything they think and see. It forces that uncomfortable what if.
It really does make you think about knowledge itself, doesn't it? Is it something we build, like science tries to do, piece by painstaking piece?
Or is it something else?
Yeah.
Something that just exists out there, maybe waiting for the right conditions or the right host, as the entity claims, to sort of download itself.
That's a fascinating and slightly chilling thought.
The whole story, whether you believe a word of it or not, it functions as this intense thought experiment. What if the reality you navigate every single day isn't the whole picture? What if it's just one layer? Or maybe it's a simulation? Or maybe it really is just the leftovers, the scraps of something way bigger and weirder?
Stepping back, the journey itself is incredible. From finding a wet Ziploc bag during a storm,
to contemplating drill-toothed squirrels cursing spaceships and humanity being cosmic refugees, it's memorable.
it definitely leaves you thinking, leaves you with these big, unsettling questions.
It really does. It forces you to ask,
Yeah.
what if the knowledge we're all searching for isn't something we have to create from scratch? What if it's already out there, maybe even sentient in some way, just waiting for a connection, a host?
And what does it mean for us, for our identity, our purpose? If our whole understanding of where we came from and our place in the cosmos is fundamentally wrong. If this reality, as the diary claims so dramatically, is just a fragment, a construct, maybe even a cosmic ghetto.
Yeah. It's a narrative that, once you've heard it, kind of sticks with you.
Yeah.
Hard to just shake off. Makes you look at squirrels a little differently, maybe.